Greetings of peace to everyone. Thanks for having me, and thanks for this great opportunity. Before I get started, can I just, will you just indulge me? I just am curious, how many students took their SATs this year? How many people took their SATs this year? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. All right, so we have, okay. Who's going off to college next year after the summer? Okay, okay. And how many are going into 9th or 10th grade next year? All right, so we had maybe a dozen high school kids. All right, not too bad, not too bad. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm here because I have some really fantastic experiences. No real fun stories as such, but I have an idea and some experience that I think you might find very relevant to the discussion. Let me just tell you a bit about me. My name is Muntasir, as Professor Najam said. I'm a student at Teachers College. I'm studying education, but I'm not here. I'm not standing on the shoulders of Durkheim today. I'm not standing on the shoulders of Faber today. Today, I'm here as a representative of SAIA, of South Asian Youth Action, a youth development community institution in Queens. And I'm standing on the shoulders of mothers and fathers, of sons and daughters, of high school kids and middle school kids and immigrants. I'm standing on the shoulders of the 1 in 4 Pakistanis who are living under the poverty line in New York City. Poverty line is what right now? Can anyone help me? A little higher. It's actually around $20,000 in New York City. I'm here standing on the shoulders of the 1 in 3 Bangladeshis living under the poverty line. So I'm coming from a slightly different reality than perhaps my suburban friends here today. That's enough about me and where I'm coming from. Let me tell you a bit about the organization. The organization that I'm coming from, by the way, how's the sound? Is this good? I'm good? All right, okay, just check it. I hate when I talk and then I realize at the end, like, no one can hear a single damn word. So I'm coming from a community-based institution that is really based off a model very well exemplified by the YMCAs and by the Boys and Girls Club and the Boys Club of Harlem. And so if you haven't heard of South Asian Youth Action, maybe you've heard of those larger, more well-known institutions. This institution that I'm coming from has been operating for about 14 years, and it works very closely with public agencies, the Department of Education, the Department of Youth and Community Development. It works very closely with local community institutions, with gurdwaras and mandirs and mosques. In order to get its work done, it has to work collaboratively with a lot of different parties, and that's, I think, part of its secret to its success. That it takes the youth development model, and has made it into something that's relevant to the Queens community. It offers comprehensive youth development services in Elmhurst itself, which is right next to the Queens Mall. If anyone knows where Queens is, Queens is just north of Brooklyn. Just messing with you. I know you guys know where Queens is. Where was I? Okay, it offers things like attendance improvement, dropout prevention. It offers things like sports and cricket club and basketball leagues and stuff like that. So it does a lot of really fun and exciting stuff, and it's why I think that I have the best job in the world. Let me talk a little bit about the model itself that I kind of alluded to earlier. How am I doing for time, by the way? I got like 5 minutes? Oh, awesome, luxury. Okay, so the model that I'm talking about is something that's flexible, something that's adaptable, something that's changing. It's not this fixed thing, and I'm not talking about a model that's how do you say, glued to Queens. It's something that's portable and can be taken other places too, okay? I'll talk about a little bit about the model at the very end. I have a nice quote I want to share with you. Let me now get to why I'm here and try to link things together for you. I'm seeing, as a college counselor, as an academic advisor, as the person who used to be responsible for getting kids to graduate from high school to get into college, I'm seeing a number of different pathways, and I'm sure you are too, and some of this will make sense and hit home for a lot of people. I'm seeing some kids getting into magnet schools and getting into private universities. I'm seeing kids who are struggling to graduate from high school and get into community college. But hey, that's another pathway, and power to them if they're getting into college. I'm seeing other pathways, and I'm seeing constraints and I'm seeing challenges. I'm seeing those who are influenced by the Crips and the Bloods. Okay, I'm seeing those who are very strongly influenced by the Islamic Thinker Society and by Al-Muhajirun. I'm seeing does anyone know the story of Junaid Barber, by the way? Does that ring a bell? Okay. Well, anyways, Junaid Barber was from Queens, or is from Queens, and is incarcerated right now. But he's strongly influenced by Al Muhajirun in Queens. I'm also seeing another pathway, which is dropping Pakistanis dropping out of high school. Najibullah Azazi grew up in Pakistan. He was an Afghan refugee, something we talked about earlier today, and he dropped out of Flushing High School. And indeed, Saya does have a partnership with Flushing High School as well. So that's it hits home for me. That story really hit home for me, among others from Queens. To put everything I've kind of talked in a kind of somewhat abstract way. Let me draw a nice, simple picture that makes me really excited. I used to be the college guy. Now I'm a student again. Went back to school, and I'm involved in a 2, 1. Okay, cool. 2, awesome. I'm all got to be it's important, right? I don't want to waste your times. I'm now doing a part-time basketball program with at-risk Pakistani guys, Pakistani boys. They're all in high school. Some were born here, some were born in Pakistan, and some have recently arrived from Pakistan. They're almost all Punjabi, I think, all from Gujarat, Gujranwala, Sialkot, some from Lahore, a couple others as well. So that's just a very interesting and diverse group. And some of these young guys, a couple of them didn't go to school when they're 9th and 10th graders. They're cutting constantly. There are weeks and months. Some of them have served time at Rikers. Okay, some of them are not planning to go to college. All of them will be the first in their families to go to college, and this is a really, really tough group. And over the last few months that I've been working with them, all I did really was get a couple of basketballs, new basketballs that I stole from our basketball coach, because I'm not really the basketball guy, right? I stole a couple of basketballs, and I got a couple of great volunteers to come on Fridays with more experience doing sports and athletics. And these guys are amazing. These guys are now getting involved in tutoring at the center. They're now thinking about college. They're talking to me about stuff going on at home. They're talking about a number of different issues. These guys are the toughest of the tough that I've been facing in Queens. And yesterday, they were running suicides. Does that ring bells? They were running like hell in order to compete with one another and with me as well. I mean, this is just a simple but really exciting story, and I invite you all to come down to check out this amazing thing that's going on. I think it's relevant. And let me just wrap up by quoting, does anyone know Ibu Patel? So let me wrap up real quickly. This is not a complicated model, okay, guys? It's something that requires a lot of hard work, and where there's support and where there's a will, this is a model that can work. Ibu Patel says this, and it's something that I think is really makes sense. And he's using the YMCA, but the YMCA for me, he's just generally talking about youth development and after-school programs in general. He says the YMCA's secret is simple. It stems from a genuine love of young people. The conventional wisdom is that young people are scrambling for their place in the world. The YMCA knows that deep down, young people need more than just a place. A place is just too passive. And because the scheme of things is constantly shifting, it's also too fleeting. It's not a place young people need so much as a role, an opportunity to be powerful, a chance to shape their world. And so the YMCA nudges them in the direction of leadership. 14-year-olds in charge of 10-year-olds at camp, college students coaching high school basketball teams. Thanks, everybody.